Okay, this is from discussion problem set 2. This is exercise 3, part A. We want to compute the sum from k equals 0 to n of r to the k. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to change the way this looks a little bit, so it looks like something else that we can work with a little bit more. So we're actually going to multiply this by r minus 1 over r minus 1. Alright, so what we've done here is we've multiplied essentially by 1, since anything over itself is 1, so I haven't changed this, so this is in fact the same sum. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this denominator, I'm going to factor it out to the front, because I can, and because that makes it a little nicer to write the rest of this. So then it's going to be the sum of k equals 0 to n, and I'm going to take this, so I've got this guy multiplied by r to the k. So I'm going to distribute them inside, and I get r to the k plus 1 minus r to the k. Okay. So now, if I take this sum, and I write it out, we're going to get 1 over r minus 1 out in front still. So here I'm going to start with k equals 0, go up to n, so k equals 0, I'm going to get r to the first minus r to the 0, but r to the 0 is just 1. Right? And so that's my 0th term. That's when k is 0. Add to that, when k is 1, I'll get r squared minus r to the first. When k is 2, I'll get r cubed minus r squared. And then we're going to add up a whole bunch in between, so plus dot dot dot. And then I'm going to add up, the last term will be when k is n, is r to the n plus 1 minus r to the n. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to look carefully at this. And we'll see that this r, so there's parentheses, I could have them or I could drop them. It doesn't really matter. But what I'm doing is I'm grouping them together to see each term where k equals 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. But they don't matter. So really here's a positive r, here's a minus r. Well, plus r minus r, those will cancel out. In fact, here's an r squared, plus r squared, minus r squared will cancel out. This r cubed, the next term is going to have an r cubed in the second term being subtracted, so that'll cancel with something in here. And in fact, every single pairing here, we're going to have the first guy, it's going to cancel out with the second guy from the next pairing. So r cancels with r squared cancels r squared, r cubed cancels r cubed, and then all the way up to rk is going to cancel with rk with rk. And up here, rn is going to cancel with this rn. And now we've got our first part here, but there's no next term for it to cancel with. So the first part of the last term is just going to stick around. So everything canceled out except for this r to the n plus 1 and this minus 1. So this leaves us with 1 over r minus 1 times r to the n plus 1 minus 1, or we could rewrite that as r to the n plus 1 minus 1 over r minus 1. And there we can just plug in n and get the number.